Marty, Sandra, family and friends. We're very honored to have you here with us this afternoon. This is a very moving occasion for all of us. I'd like to introduce Ora Chayun, the Managing Director of Beit Halochem Tel Aviv. She would like to say a few words. Thank you, Ora.
Good afternoon, אחר הצהריים טובים, and shalom. It's a big honor having you here. Marty and Sandra, yes, may I say?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because we kind of feel like a family here. What you did for us here is really a big mitzvah. Because in Beit Halochem we have a lot of young families and a lot of children and grandchildren of our members. And this was something that we really missed. So now we have a beautiful, beautiful playground, and I can assure you that anytime you come, it will be full of kids playing, mothers, young fathers. And as I said, it's a big mitzvah that you did for us, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart and all our thousands and thousands of members. Thank you so much.
It's a great pleasure to see all of my old friends and colleagues and business associates. It has been, as I try to remember all the dates, it's been well over, I guess, 10 to 15 years since I saw you all. And I think it was something like about 5 years ago. I think it was something like about 5 years ago that I came in contact with Colonel Alan. And Chris and I had just been together once again after leaving our chromalloy company and started another company. And Colonel Alan came to see if there was some way that we could develop a relationship between our hometown, which is San Antonio, and Beit Halochem. We were not very successful because, as always, we had basically one thing mainly on our mind, which was business. And it was very difficult to try to integrate an association in San Antonio with Beit Halochem, but we tried. We tried to get a number of the very senior members in the city to work along with us. But we always had, Chris and I always had in our mind that someday we would be able to reinstate the association of Israel and the San Antonio community. There is a big association. There's a Reverend Hagee in San Antonio who is a major supporter of many of the Israeli projects, and we were hoping that he would be able to help us. We were not successful. But on April the 16th of last year, unexpectedly, Chris Richardson passed away. And that struck me as a poignant opportunity to see if I could do something that was integrated into her interests as well as my own. And we decided to see if there was something we could do in this facility, and I think you can see the facility that they built here, the playground, is just wonderful. But I'd like to unveil a plaque that commemorates this facility and the things that I remember about Chris Richardson, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about it. Chris was to a fault, a charitable person. She grew up in modest surroundings in a small town in northern Texas called Waxahachie, Texas. Waxahachie is known for being the place where the U.S. was going to build their super collider. Instead, there's a big hole in the ground now. They never built it. But she was a brilliant, brilliant person and very charitable. During her childhood years, she learned to help children who were disabled and get them into a learning condition where they could actually grow into educated human beings. She then decided that she wanted to help a group of nuns in the San Antonio area, and she was still quite young, and she became their financial advisor and helped them work out some very critical financial problems. At the same time, she came in contact with a young Jewish orphan that the nuns were taking care of, and she brought that child through universities, and he became a significant investment banker. That was the kind of person that she was. She was, as I said, charitable to a fault. She also happened to be the kind of person that if you ever crossed her path, you knew that there was something quite different about her. She was a pure, unadulterated beauty, but she was also a Renaissance woman. She was completely fluent in the history of American presidencies. She also had a photographic memory, which I'll talk about later. She was a member of Mensa. She was had 165 IQ. She's just an absolutely brilliant woman, and she used that to benefit many, many people. If you were her hairdresser, if you were her pool man, if you were her ranch supervisor, if you needed anything, she would help you just like you were a member of her family. She also, as I said, was a Renaissance person. Not only was she a historian, but she was a horsewoman. She built one of the most successful quarter horse ranches in South Texas, and she bred and trained and broke quarter horses. Quarter horses are the horses that are used in the rodeo. And she trained also the rodeo ropers to use these horses. She was also a musician. Things that I'm sure none of the people who ever worked with her knew. She, as a semi-professional, she sang and played guitar with Willie Nelson. So here was a person that was, you know, unbelievable. And when you recognized her and you came across her, you saw a beautiful woman, but if you spent a little time with her, you knew you were in the presence of someone really special. And she was also, unbeknownst to almost anybody here, a passionate Zionist. She's a member of Reverend Hagee's congregation. And because she had a photographic memory, she worked with the Israeli government, bringing over information that was not written, but that she could verbalize and write down. And over the years, she did that many, many, many times. I don't know the specifics of it because it was never, she could never tell me. But I knew it was, she wasn't Mata Hari, but she was close. And she was a renowned executive. When I started with building Chromalloy, we had a couple of small government contracts. With her support and help, when I left and she left in 2008, we were $1.5 billion corporation. We were truly the only organization in the world that has ever been competitive with GE and Pratt & Whitney. They tried like the Dickens to figure out ways that they could say that we were pirates or that we were operating in non-technical areas that were, and in technical areas that were beyond our knowledge base, but they could never prove that. and she helped significantly to mentor, I guess, many of the fellows that were at our Kromaloi Israel facility when she came to visit there. She was also a beloved mother, and her son now works with me, and also a beloved wife. So I'm glad that you all could come here and see what, at least hear from me, the kind of person she was. Of course, in my own mind, I was her best friend and an associate for over 35 years. So it's been a difficult time for me, but I'm glad we were able to bring you all together and have you see this wonderful facility. Thank you very much. And I think we're planning to possibly take a tour around the facility, and then at about I think 6:30, 7 o'clock, we'll be having dinner at Herbert Samuel in Herzliya. The plaque states, "In memory of Christine Richardson, Renaissance woman, passionate Zionist, renowned executive, colleague and mentor, beloved wife and mother, dedicated by the family of Sandra and Martin Weinstein."
Has to come to 15 so that you don't they are encouraged after the treatment to start taking part in the various activities here, whether